Our next guest does join us virtually as we continue to review stories of interest making the rounds in Nigeria. Our next guest, Comrade Segun Ayoola, is a public affairs analyst. Comrade, good morning and welcome to the program.
Mr. James, good morning, viewers.
Now, my last guest who just left the studio began a conversation owing to some discrepancies in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria, particularly as it concerns the planned bid to sell off the nation's refineries. Now, even the House of Representatives has queried this decision. It's coming from the angle of how much would the country be losing, having pumped humongous amounts of money into trying to turn around and maintain those refineries. Well, Comrade, let's get your thoughts on this planned sales of our national refinery.
Yeah, thank you so very much for the opportunity. The plan to sell the Nigeria refinery, I don't think is a good one. If you compare the advantage or the advantages or disadvantages, as the case may be, you find that in other sectors, especially in health industry, what have the government been able to achieve providing health, hospitals, facilities for health care for the people? When you compare that to private sector, you know that it is better to actually patronize government-owned hospitals. So the case, I don't think, is so in the NNPC. I don't know if it is as a result of bad managers we have at the helms of affair in the NNPC. If they are unable to manage it well, I think the best way to go is to see how to seed it or sell it off to those who can manage it well. Because it is said that anything that belongs to government belongs to everyone. And anything that belongs to everyone does not always work. So, in my own view, they should check, they should find solutions. If they cannot find solutions to solving any problem encountered in managing it by the government, which I think is what has been seen not to have been achieved, selling it off to those who will manage it well, I think is a good one. Our power sector at one point was owned by government, then we call it NEPA. It was ceded or sold to private sectors, PHCN. Today, it has been, given to several other companies to manage. The question is, has it been able to solve the power problem? So let them check what the government has been doing in the past, selling its properties. Has it achieved anything? And if it has not, they should rethink. So we don't go into the same problem as we have seen in the past. But if it is achievable, if it will solve the problem, I support selling it off. Those who are at the sector would tell better, and I think if that is the decision, I think it has been considered to be so. So let them go ahead. We are watching.
Now, I'll start with the first point you raised as to whatever belongs to government belongs to every Nigerian. That point has been concurred by the Edo State lawmaker, Honorable Henry Okoje, who says that our national refineries remain in national assets and Nigerians should have a say in its sales. Do you think on reaching a consensus on what Nigerians think should be done about our national refineries can be better reached through public town hall meetings? What vehicle can convey the position of Nigerians beyond the National Assembly on the planned sales or concession of our national refineries?
Yes, The issue on sales of government properties, I think, is an issue that is handled by the legislative arm. They are the one that has the power to agree or disagree on sales of government-owned properties. NNPCL is not just an organization, it's huge. It is our main source of income. So if they are to sell its refinery, what has happened in the past? Government's inability to manage over the years has called for the sale. And if that is the case, the question is, who is interested? Is Dangote making an extension? Is other persons who are interested, are they ready to comply? Are they ready to give it to us what we want? Nigerians want government facilities, organizations like NNPC to work. My brother, you will agree with me, if NNPC refinery is producing, we will not be buying fuel the rate we are buying today. I remember when NNPC was selling, where we have, depots all over the nation, scattered around. You find that it is easy to access. Prices are cheaper. But when the private sectors come in, and I want to take your mind to this rice production under Buhari government. When Buhari came in, he said there will be no importation again. He shut down the borders. The farmers went back to farm. They came out with their rice, and then they upped the prices of the rice. The bag that we were buying 15,000 naira went up to 120,000 naira. And that was because he allowed individuals to go to farm, and so they determine how much you buy. So if you give this refinery to the private sector, are you going to have a say? Maybe there is going to be a memorandum of understanding between the government and those who will buy. I think that is how it is done. And if that is the case, let them wear human face. Let them be humane. Let them consider Nigerians, the populace, the poor people. So that the government will say, okay, I will give you a trial for 2 years. I will give you a trial for 3 years. Or even 4 years. If you fail, this is what we will do. I think that has to be put into consideration. So that you don't just sell it out and then you don't have a say at the end of the day. The one who buys, he knows what to do with his business. It becomes his business. He begins to dictate how much he sells. So let them look at it very critically, because this is a national, property. Is our collective property. Every Nigerians have, access to the output of this refinery. Now, and whether you like it or not, whether you are a poor man, you are a rich man, NNPC refinery has a role to play, and it was playing that role from onset since 1975 until the government of Obasanjo and so on began to increase the fuel prices and so on. So I think they should have a town hall meetings, sample the opinions, especially the average men on the streets, the politicians, the state houses of assembly, the National Assembly, Governors Forum, and so on. Let them consider the best way forward. If being considered and they look at it critically, and they see that the advantage of selling it is more than the disadvantage, I think they have my support.
Now, Comrade Segun, an important issue you just touched on is the role of NNPCL over the years. Now, currently, NNPCL has a new leadership under the GCEO, Engineer Bayo Julari, who, according to sources, quote him as having said that the technology available in our nation's refinery might never get the refineries functioning at an optimal level. Hence the decision to probably sell it. Now, the challenge here is, if this is the case, would selling the refineries translate to giving them at a giveaway price? Can Nigeria actually make gains from the sales of these refineries, in your opinion?
In my opinion, looking back at the antecedents of how Nigerians' properties are being sold, my brother, a property worth 1 million naira, for example, the government of Nigeria will sell it for 100 naira. Check records, you will find that. During the this organization under Refinery, is it a Bureau for Public Enterprise, BP? We saw what happened there, how government properties were sold for kobo. And in fact, after selling off, after advertising, they ensure that it is the people they intend to sell to that must buy. Have that been taken into consideration? Are you going to advertise? The people that are going to buy, are you limiting it to Nigerians? The people that are going to buy, are they capable? Do they have the money? Or are they going to use Nigerians' money? Are they going to steal from Nigerians' money, from our coffers, and buy? In other words, who are these people? What is their integrity? Do they have money? Are they in business? Can they run it? Can they make it work? Or they are just going to come to harvest money and abandon the projects? These are some of the things. The people who should buy should be considered to be people who have the capacity to deliver, people who have the money to buy, not just advertising it and then you come through the back door and buy it. Yes, what the man said is okay. They are the one in charge. They know how it works. If they themselves are shooting their foot by saying the government cannot manage it, it means they are incapable of managing the NNPC refinery. They have now come to say, let the public come in. Let the private sectors come in. I think there is nothing more to say than to just sell it off. Allowing it to stay with government hand, you know how that works. They will be going back and front and back and front without achieving anything. Some people see it as a cash cow. They will come into the sector, steal the money, still it will not work. This one is broken down. Let's get the parts. We'll go to Japan, we'll go to Germany, we'll go to so and so to get the part. A lot of money will be sent, will be awarded, contract will be awarded, and the thing will be bought and still resell. People will buy account. So NNPC is not meant to work under government anymore. So I am of the opinion it is a good thing to do, but having said that, what are your plans towards selling it? What have you been able to put in place to sell this property? Because this property, I think, is one of the best we all Nigerians are attached to. So you must be able to get the money back to Nigerian coffers. You must be able to, if partnership is okay, it's fine too. Let them partner with the Nigerian government in such a way that if you refuse to perform, we will take it over again. Let there be something so strong to enable the system to work. And if there is nothing so strong to enable the people who will take charge will not be afraid. Especially those who are in government should not be allowed to buy. They should allow people, especially people who are already in the sector, like Sahara Group, what do you call them? There are so many companies who are capable, who should be able to be allowed to take over, and not foreign industries. Companies that are domiciled, that are indigenous, companies who have the men and women of integrity, companies who have people who can deliver, who have track records to deliver, should be allowed to bid for the sale of the NNPC refinery.
Now, Comrade Segun, the other angle is in terms of being able to probe financial misappropriations currently ongoing in the NNPCL. Now, so far, so good on record. A little over $18 billion has been spent in turning around our four refineries, two in Port Harcourt, one in Warri, and the other in Kaduna. But besides that, between the period of 2017 to 2023, an audited report by the NNPCL owing to over 200 trillion naira is yet unaccounted for. Part of the challenges with probing this is non-summons. For 4 times now, the National Assembly has summoned the NNPCL, but it has failed to appear. Do you ever see us having any headway in being able to probe and audit the NNPCL to be able to checkmate some of these gaps in which monies are being misappropriated under the said institution?
If you invite a thief that has a connection with the power that be, do you think the thief will respond? The thief will not respond. You know why? He is connected to the power that be. The power that be will speak for it to do a cover-up. What gave them the temerity not to appear before the arms of a government, like the legislative arm of the government? You are invited to come and tell us what you have been able to do with the money that was given to you, and you are not coming. In the first instance, the person who empowers you have the capacity to call you to order. It is the National Assembly that empowers the existence of the NNPC. They should know that. And so, if you have been invited to come and speak and you refuse to come, it means there is a skeleton in your cupboard. There is something you are trying to protect. There is something you don't want to come and tell us. There is something that made you to step back. And there must be the agencies that are responsible for, arresting or bringing to book or calling to order those who are responsible for corruption in Nigeria should be empowered. The ICPCs are there, the EFCCs are there, and so many other agencies are there. They should be empowered. If you refuse to call, you should be forced to appear. Even if you have to be brought in on a stretcher, no problem, come and talk to Nigerians. As a matter of fact, National Assembly is a representative of Nigerians. Every constituency have representatives there. In other words, you are being asked to come and speak to Nigerians and you are refusing to come. This is the highest level of corruption, indiscipline. This should never be allowed to happen.
Now, in closing, just before we let you go, let's talk about the pump price of fuel. Now, over time, there's been sort of a perceived price war ongoing, or as Dangote slashes the ex-depot price to in turn affect the pump price. Some marketers have greeted that decision with their own form of protest. But overarchingly, this morning we're told that the NNPCL has reduced fuel price to 890 naira per litre. What do you make of the current price pegging for PMS in the country?
Well, my opinion for that reduction is neither here nor there. Neither here because oil price is determined by international market. And Mr. President says the days of fuel subsidies are over.
But Comrade Segun, as much as it's determined by the international market, shouldn't the Naira for crude deal do something in the interest of Nigerians who claim to have this at home but are still banking on foreign prices to be able to compete?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. That's why I say it's neither here nor there. You have to do the balance. And I think that is what NNPC PLC is doing, to balance it at the center. Locally, those who are, citizens, the populace, they should enjoy the benefit of being the owner of the oil production by way of buying at a cheaper rate. Because even if you have to sell to the to the prices internationally, you know you are going to do some cost of exportation, and that is not going to be there as compared to how you sell to within the market. But then 890 naira is not good enough. If you ask me, Mr. James, my brother,
Mr. Bito, rather,
Nigeria should be buying at the rate of 270 naira. Let me tell you, the money few hands are stealing from this country can subsidize to bring it to the pricing of 270 naira per liter to Nigerians. If one person is stealing trillions of naira, do you know how many years it can cover for subsidy to sell per liter at 270 to Nigerians? All these things are there. Some of them were arrested, they were taken to prison, and then a day after, we see them walk back in the streets. So they can do better. 890 is not good enough. 270 naira is good enough. All the money that was recovered under Buhari, all the money that are being recovered even now, let them use it to subsidize whatever thing that it need to complement the 200, what between 270 to 890 naira should be used. That money should be used to do the cover. I think it will go a long way. 270 naira is my own suggestion. 890 is not good enough.
Well, we must thank you, Comrade Segun Ayoola, for your submissions and suggestions on the program this morning. We appreciate you for taking our time to join the conversation.